Hello, Tiger fans. Thanks for joining us for Inside CU Sports as we kick off what has become now late winter sports season and the crossover season to come here at Campbellsville University. Matt Payton in the WLCU studios, and we start our coverage this winter with the head coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Ginger High Colvin, who joins us. The Lady Tigers amidst a terrific start to their season, 21-1 on the year, the number 3 ranked team in the NAI. And Coach, this has been a season like they all do once you get to a certain point, but now the halfway mark, halfway through conference, all these things, the kind of checkpoints, I guess you could look at that you start to go through, and you're almost at the end of this thing in the blink of an eye.
It goes by so fast, and then it goes by so slow. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. I think you're in the heat of the moment, you just don't realize it at times. But in our minds, we're starting another season this week. We try to break it up instead of just take the whole marathon approach. But, we do start another season. Our second round of conference starts this week. And like you say, it's really hard to believe.
There are certain things that I want to touch on. We've gotten to talk post-game interviews and things about some of the milestones and the marks that you guys have hit this year. But let's touch first on the 1,000 wins. I know you guys had the celebration on January the 4th when Cumberland University came here. But that's a special moment, not for these Lady Tigers, but for everybody who's poured just a few minutes into this program, and whether that's been on the court or in a managerial role or parents who have hauled to and from and all those things that you take for granted. A really cool moment, and something that I know you were tickled to share with so many family and friends on January the 4th.
It was so cool, and so many people got to come back. And if you've not been around in a while, the campus has changed a lot, and so they were able to come and really more than anything, just be with some old teammates and old friends. And I know a lot of those people, but I was even able to put some faces to some names, because you look in the record books, you look at all this, and there were some people that were even before me that I was able to meet. And, and I think the common thing is they're all still followers. They're all still fans. And, that's something, too. I know Madison Clemens told me after, she said, "You're always telling me about it. You're always telling us about it." And she said it was really cool to see it all come together and to see that is really the way it is. And I don't know if they just don't believe me sometimes, but it's a great tradition, and it's because of all those people, like you said, the support staff all the way to the best players we've had.
And I think one thing that makes it easy to do or easy to have that tradition and have those people that still are so invested is the fact that you have the longevity with Donna Wise as head coach. And now you, who spent your playing days as a Lady Tiger, you don't have 4, 5, 6, 8 coaches, whatever it may be, and all this different stuff. It has been such a small, group to lead this ship that I think that makes it a little easier to really, stay connected.
It is, and look at me now, my support staff. All our former players here, and obviously I was able to play for Coach Wise, and Miranda was a player for Coach Wise, and. So it is truly a family atmosphere. Richard Robards is going back now and posting a lot of those old photos like he's been doing in Georgia Maxer and so many of those. And you talk about support staff, man, those have been 2 huge supporters of this program for a long time. But we're so blessed.
You guys start the season 18-0, your best start in history. We were going back trying to pull the numbers. I was in your office, and you were going through old media guides. We had to, call in Donna Wise and get her help as well. But 18-0, the best start in Lady Tiger history. And you had mentioned when we were talking about it, in the early days, we'd always go out west somewhere, and we'd play some really tough teams, and it seemed like we'd drop one. So, we kind of felt like this may be the record. It was 10-0 back in the season that you guys went to the national finals, and here an 18-0 start to the year. And that's a pretty impressive start right out of the gate.
In the past, our conference just wasn't strong, and we would get to the national tournament and just kind of get floored that first round. And I think Coach Wise noticed that, so we started traveling. She would seek out Wayland Baptist, who's got, you look in those wins, they have more wins than we do. Oklahoma City, Southern Nazarene, who's not in the NAIA D1 anymore, but those are teams that were super tough. So we would go play those, and then it would give you something to measure by. And I know we would come back and go on insane win streaks. And I know there was a time in Christy Thomas, Shannon Wath, and Jeannie Jesse era that they would win 8 conference championships in a row or 9 in a row. I know Christy Thomas is a player that never lost a conference game in her 4 years here. So it shows you we were really good, but there wasn't that level of competition in our league, and now it is. But yeah, the best start, that's a lot considering the competition we played.
And as we talk about conference before we look back at the win over Thomas More this past weekend and Life University coming up, let's take a look at the change for the Mid-South Conference next year. Thomas More came in this season, Coach, and I know that scheduling has been an issue. So anytime you can add a new conference team, you're fine with that because it guarantees you 2 games. One of those will be at home. So Thomas More comes in. That's great. Now 9 teams in the Mid-South, and then this thing really kind of gets flipped on its head a little bit, especially on the women's side in terms of basketball. I know on the men's side it's a little different, but on the women's side you've got powerhouses joining in Freed Hardeman and Bethel, and 2 guys that you're very close with in Dale Neal and Chris Nelson. And then also Martin Methodist will come into the conference as well. So 3 teams from Tennessee join. Now you have 12 teams in conference play. The great news is that gives you 22 games.
I love it.
So that makes scheduling a lot easier for you. You take in a couple classics here and there, a couple trips, and all of a sudden you're at your 30. So it makes life easier in that regard, but it's going to be a real mess next year.
The scheduling aspect, I look at my schedule yesterday, as a matter of fact, because we are taking a trip to Hawaii. We do play in the Classic in Jackson, so I need 4 games. That, to me, is unheard of. It's great. But then you look on the flip side, and let's just take the poll that will come out today. I'm pretty sure in the poll today you'll have us, Shawnee, Lindsey Wilson, Bethel, Freed Hardeman, Thomas More, Martin Methodist, U Pike, University of the Cumberlands, and I think I mentioned Thomas More. You're going to have that many people either top 25 or receiving votes today. And that's unheard of. And then you talk about those teams we mentioned. Lindsey Wilson, I didn't mention Lindsey Wilson. You're going to have at least 6 in the top 15, which is a pretty stacked conference.
It's going to be something to keep you up at night next year. We actually, Coach, shared the conference schedule. It's going to start early for the Lady Tigers next year, and I don't think it'll let up much throughout the season. But we'll step away, take a time out. We'll come back. The Lady Tigers had a big win on the road against Thomas More on Saturday. We'll recap that with the head coach. We'll also look ahead to this week's matchup with Life University Thursday night at the Powell Center. Stay with us here on Inside CU Sports.
Central Kentucky's newest music venue is right around the corner. Located in Summersville, Kentucky, Green River Live is bringing you the artists you love in their new 1,000-seat venue. Shows every Saturday night featuring the Heart of Kentucky band, Green River Live's very own house band, made up of current and former touring musicians. Drop by the GRL Grill or our indoor concession area and pick up your very own Green River Live merchandise. Green River Live on the web at greenriverlive.com.
Keltner Contracting of Campbellsville is locally owned and operated with over 30 years of experience. They offer services across the Campbellsville-Taylor County area and surrounding counties. Keltner Contracting offers heating and air installation, electrical services, and more. They carry a number of Tempstar products for your home or office. For more information, call 270-403-5444 or visit keltnercontracting.com.
Kendon Young and Sarah Clark are natives of Taylor County. They have grown up in the community and have close ties to the city and the county. Both have fond memories spent from downtown Campbellsville to Green River Lake. They decided to continue their education in their hometown at Campbellsville University. Taylor County Bank proudly claims them as both valued customers and members of our community. Taylor County Bank, invested in Campbellsville University, invested in the future of our young people.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the
Oh,
waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we visit with the head coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Ginger High Colvin. And the Lady Tigers went on the road this past weekend, a big matchup with Thomas More on the heels of a win at home at the Powell Center last Thursday. The Lady Tigers knocking off Georgetown in a big way. Then you go on the road to Thomas More, Coach, and not a lot of time to turn around. This is a Thomas More team that's a Division III national champ. They had lost, I think, 3 games at home in the last 6 or 7 years. hadn't lost 2 games at home in the same season since the 11-12 year.
Wow.
They had already lost 1 at home, so you had your work cut out
Had
for
our
you
hands
on the
full,
road.
right?
You did, and I tell you, it was this is the first thing we talked about, I think, post-game. What an environment. It was terrific. They had people around the walking
Yes.
track, around the gymnasium and different things. A big place to play, a big environment, and a big win for you guys.
It was. The only time I'd ever even been to Thomas More was to watch Shelby Harmeyer in an all-star event. And, you don't think much about it then. You're just watching her and talking to some of the coaches that you know. But when we walked in when we walked in on Saturday, and Coach told me, he said, we've got a lot coming in today, a lot of alumni. They have a Hall of Fame room around the track up top, and the band's there. And it's just, they have a great following, and deservedly so. They have such a great tradition. And it was just and I told the kids before the game, I said, this is what you play for. These are the environments you play for. They're not going to be cheering for you, but it's still a great environment. And I'll credit our fans. We had a section field as well, and I think that helped us, boost us a lot.
About 20 minutes before the game, I did a count. I got to mid-40s and I stopped. I'm going to guess that you had somewhere between 60 and 70 there by the time that game tipped off. Then the guys came in, and
Right.
so you had close to 100 or so maybe rooting you on when that thing started. You always travel well. You traveled
Right.
well there on Saturday to Northern Kentucky, and that's one that going on the road, a new place to play, a new environment for them. Yeah, it's why you play, but I thought there may have been some nerves in the second quarter, not the first. They started to slow down a little bit after they got into a rhythm, it seemed like.
We did. I think we just lost a few defensive assignments, and that didn't help. And they let us play crazy physical up there, and I think it's so different from the way that their games have been played, and it was an adjustment, and it was consistent. And I told one of the officials, "You're consistent," and but it's not the way we've been accustomed to play, and you know that. There's been a lot of fouls whistled. We get there's not very many fouls whistled at all. So I think it took us back for a step, and we were able to, and we didn't not make a lot of shots, and but we just did keep hanging on. And I told the kids in the locker room after the game, I don't think they understand how big of a win it was, but it was a big win. Not sure anybody in the league can go up there and win at this point.
It's certainly going to be a tall task for somebody to go up there and knock off the Saints in Northern Kentucky. And the first half kind of played out. The Lady Tigers forced several turnovers against Thomas More. Coach, you were able to get after them, forced them into what was a season-high turnovers on the day. They may have settled in a bit. The issue was they settled in a bit handling the ball. They didn't shoot it as well. They shot it really well early with not a lot of attempts.
Yes.
It was like 61%. So I think maybe we were all thinking there, as long as that percentage starts to come down a little bit, we're going to be in pretty good
Right.
shape. You have a 9-point lead or so in the last couple minutes. Next thing you know, in the blink of an
Bam,
eye,
yeah.
it's a 2-possession game, and it was really kind of a nail biter down the stretch.
It was. They had 4 threes in the first quarter and didn't have another one. We felt like we rushed them a little bit and ran them off the line, and that's what we wanted to do. The first quarter we left her 2 times and gave up just some wide open looks. But they threw a press at us, and our 2 point guards are the ones that had the 2 turnovers, and we've obviously worked on that in practice and talked about that. And it was just a situation and then their crowd went nuts, which was great. And but we did come back. Courtney Pritchett came down and made a big and one, and just regained that momentum right back, kind of calmed the crowd down again.
Take a look at some of the numbers from that win over Thomas More. 71-67, the final score. Lady Tigers with a 4-point victory, led by Madison Faulkner with 22 points. Courtney Pritchett, as Coach mentioned there a moment ago, may have had the biggest bucket down the stretch. 17 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. She had 4 steals in the game as well, did Pritchett. Savannah Gregory with another nice day shooting, 15 points, 8 boards, a couple of steals for Savannah as she comes off a new career-high 26 over Georgetown last Thursday. The Lady Tigers also, Caitlin Hall had 6 assists. She passed Katie Allen on the all-time list for 5th place on the all-time list. And some of these Lady Tigers continue to creep up there. I was texting with you this weekend. Madison needs 120-something, 122, I think, to catch a familiar name on that 1,000-point list. That would be you. She's got a chance to pass her former teammate Jordan Dorham on Thursday against Life. But Faulkner continues to be that steady presence for you guys. She had an off night against Georgetown, but she was terrific on Saturday.
She did. And we've talked about that too. In the first half, she made tough shots. It wasn't easy looks, and the stuff we ran, they double teamed her, and they did a great job defensively. They had a great defensive plan against us. But then she just started pulling up and making shots, not in our sets, just out playing basketball. And that was huge. I think she had 18 at the half, and that had helped pull us through because, like I told you, we didn't shoot the ball very well. They covered Lexi pretty well, and we didn't have a lot of movement in our offense. And we've really worked on that. We've made some changes offensively, and we're going to continue to make some changes just to give us a little bit more movement. And I'm hopeful. But like you said, she had a great game. And if we can get some more movement, open some more people up.
Just 3 home games remain for the Lady Tigers. They'll welcome Thomas More in on Senior Day, Lindsey Wilson College as well. But this week it's Life University on Thursday night, and that's a 9-point win down there, Coach, as you guys will welcome them in for a 6 p.m. tip-off. But a 9-point win down at their place, and it was a slow start to that one. It was a physical game. They're a very athletic team, get up and down, and you know, they had a shootout with Cumberland University this weekend. They ended up falling by 4 points in overtime, but 94-90, I think. So they're gonna get out and run.
They're so close, and they've been so close. Took Thomas More to double overtime at their place. Had Lindsey Wilson about like us. It was just a super close game. So they have really probably one of the most athletic teams in the league. And like I told you, I think they've got a couple kids that anybody would scoop up. They're super athletic and quick, and they just love to get up and down the floor. Like I said, 90 points. And so we're going to try to slow that down a little bit, and then we have to be a little bit more we were not very smart down there. We got in foul trouble, and we didn't shoot the ball well. Lexi was coming off 9 made threes, and I think she was 1 for 10 at their place. And so we're hopeful we shoot it a little bit better here and then keep some players on the floor without making silly fouls.
And this was the spot a year ago. Savannah Gregory posted her triple-double, 17 points, 10 boards, 10 steals in the win over Life at home last season. The Lady Tigers would surely welcome another one of those from Sav this weekend. It's nice to see her playing better.
She is. She's playing great, and you know that's what you can't publicize stuff, but she's had 2 injuries in her hands, and it's been her fingers. So everybody thinks she shot it poorly, and it frustrates me a little bit because the kid's playing with a really an injured finger, maybe even a finger that was cracked, and but she didn't want to go get it checked out because she was afraid she would have to sit for 6 weeks. And it's slowly recovering. She's slowly starting to shoot the ball better, and she's playing to her potential. She's been banged up a little this year, her knee, her fingers, and so just now that she's starting to feel well, and she's back to her old self.
Certainly her best basketball ahead of her this season.
Yep.
We hope. Lady Tigers and Life University Thursday at 6 p.m. Coverage begins at 5:45 on 88.7 The Tiger. Coach, thanks for joining us this week. We'll see you next time. The Lady Tigers and Life this weekend, or this Thursday, then this Saturday, Campbellsville will hit the road to go visit Cumberland University down in Lebanon, Tennessee on Saturday. That game on 88.7 The Tiger as well. Stay with us. We'll step away, come back, and visit with the head coach of Tiger basketball, Brent Vernon, here on Inside CU Sports.
A champion doesn't get days off. It takes determination and drive to realize goals. From long nights to early mornings. From the courts to the classrooms to online. At Campbellsville University, this is why we play. This is how we learn. This is where champions are made. Find your calling for a life change at campbellsville.edu.
The biggest buffet in town is at the Winters Dining Hall, located on Campbellsville University's campus. We've got it all, from our main entree lines, pizza, pasta, soup, subzone, and our new Fresh and Fit section. Don't forget about our dessert corner. Winters Dining Hall is open to the public 7 days a week. $7 for lunch, $8 for dinner. Winters Dining Hall at Campbellsville University. Find us at campbellsville.edu/dining hall.
Come find solace at Saloma Baptist, an intergenerational church.
Here, the family of Christ extends far past the walls, and hospitality is held on high.
We are committed in our pursuit of discipling every nation and generation.
For more information on service times, visit salomabaptist.com or call 270-789-0082. And add our Facebook at Saloma Baptist Church.
Saloma Baptist, ministering to the community and to the world in the 21st century.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back, Tiger fans. Inside CU Sports continues here on the Campbellsville University Sports Network. Matt Payton with you as we transition now from Lady Tiger basketball over to Tiger basketball. Campbellsville University heads home this week as they'll battle Life University at the Powell Athletic Center 8 p.m. on Thursday evening. This past weekend, a couple of tough luck losses for Coach Brent Vernon's club. They had #1 Georgetown on the ropes, and then a loss on the road at Thomas More on Saturday as we welcome in Brent Vernon. And Coach, those are two in a week. If you lose those at any point in the season, you point back and say, oh, those are tough ones to lose. But that same weekend's a gut punch. You had Georgetown on the ropes Thursday, and just not enough to get over the hump, and played pretty well on Saturday, just not enough offense.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. On Saturday, just not enough offense. Going back and watching film from Saturday, played pretty well. Defensively, were really good. Just really struggled scoring the ball. And Thursday it is what it is. I mean, we played our guts out. We took the #1 team in the nation with a 27-game win streak to the wire, and second half had chances late with a late lead, and they stepped up and made big shots like a team of their caliber does. But really needed one last week. Just, we've been playing better, but it's one of those times now you need something positive to happen and get over the hump for that confidence standpoint. So came up short, but, back to work and, got to get ready for Thursday and pull a big one out.
Thursday against Georgetown last week, the Tigers led 55-50. Georgetown went on a little spurt there and pulled out the win in the Powell Center as they avoided losing at the Powell for the second straight year. Saturday, Campbell's with a quick turnaround heads up to Thomas More as we take a look at some of the numbers from that matchup between the Tigers and the Saints. 52-46, the final score, a low-scoring affair there. Lenoris Mincy featured 6 points, a couple of rebounds, a couple of steals. Richie Mitchell there with 14 points to lead the way for the Tigers. Ronald Taylor, the leading rebounder, with 8 rebounds. And Coach, you start to highlight some of the individuals there with a contest where you score 46 points. Not a lot of guys to look at. It was just one of those days offensively. Credit Thomas More and what they did. You needed somebody to get hot. Richie Mitchell did that a little bit in the first half, just not enough made buckets everywhere else. You had some good looks. It was just one of those days, and I think you couple that with the fact that you played pretty good defense, it makes it even tougher to swallow.
Yeah, it was one of those days, and going back and watching film during the game, whenever you're struggling scoring so much, I think as a coach you sort of get blinded a little bit and you think, oh man, we're just really playing bad. But we had some pretty good looks. We did settle a little bit too much and didn't get as much dribble penetration to try to get some better looks as I wanted. But all in all, it came to a time where you just got to step up and make some shots. And probably a little heavy leg from Thursday. We had so much energy that we put into it. And again, we played hard Saturday. And anytime you hold somebody to 52 points, you feel pretty good about coming out with a win, and we just came up short. But I thought Richie, he tried to really help us get going. Jacob King made a shot here and there. You look at Ronald Taylor's stats, 4 and 8, and I know that's nothing great, but Ronald Taylor has really taken on a role that I appreciate, and defensively he's been so dynamite lately. And again, we're getting better defensively. Now we just got to continue to guard people and find ways to get a few more points on the board.
So now here you are midway through the Mid-South Conference schedule, through that first 8 games, 3-5 mark. I know not what you wanted, would have loved to have been at 500. If you get one of those last week, would have loved to have been above 500, obviously. The good news is with the non-conference record, still a lot of conference games to go. You're still alive. You still have a chance. Season's not over. It's not time to throw in the towel, and this second half really going to be important for you all.
It's going to be huge, and it's sort of weird. You look at our scores. We've had 2 wins that we've won by big margins, and one of those was close. We've had 2 losses where we've been beaten by big margins, and 2 of those losses have been really close. So, let's just throw out the Shawnee and Cumberlands, and, we had a chance to win a lot of the other ones. Obviously the Lindsay game, it was a conference game, but we're not the same team now that we were then. So this second half I'm really looking forward to. It's one of those that it's always harder the second half because everybody's got a little better feel for each other. But at 3-5, you're still sitting in a tie for 4th place. Yeah, you're tied with 5 teams. A log jam, as you could say, but only a couple games out of 3rd. Every game's important. Obviously, 4-4 or 5-3 would be better. But I've been preaching to our guys. We've got to change our goals a little bit. And I know that's not what anybody wants to do, but the opportunity to win the conference tournament or conference regular season's out the door. I mean, Georgetown's 8-0, Cumberland's is 7-1. They've got it pretty much. They've separated themselves. So what we have to do now, we've got to win the second half of conference. And I think if we go do that, you're going to see some very positive results, and you're going to see us either maintaining fourth by ourselves or maybe moving up to third. And, you know, these first 2 games are huge. We got 2 games this week that we have to get on a good start of this second semester of conference. But at the same time, Shawnee, who's in third, has to go and play at Georgetown this week. So there's a chance that if we get 2, if Georgetown continues to do what they do, we'd be going to Shawnee next week battling for third place. And you got to look at different scenarios now. And it's, again, it's not something you want to do, but it's where we're at. And we've got to take those and try to look for the positives and realize that it's not over yet. We can get hot, and this is the time that you want to get hot moving towards the end of the year.
The Tigers see 2 teams that they beat through that first trip of conference schedule this weekend. Thursday night against Life in the Powell, 8 p.m., the tip time for that one. And then on Saturday, they make the trip down to Lebanon, Tennessee. That will be, it's actually a 5 Eastern tip-off down in Lebanon, Tennessee on Saturday. So, Coach, here, some teams you mentioned, you're kind of familiar with people and whatnot. So this second trip through, Life is a team that struggled. They got out of the gates hot in non-conference. And, boy, it's just really stalled out for Coach Easley and company. And then Cumberland University down there in Lebanon, Tennessee on Saturday. So 2 big ones for you guys. You get both. You're back to 500 in conference play, and then you can see what shakes out from there.
Yeah, and there's no doubt the second half of this conference is tougher for us. 5 of our 8 games are on the road, but you know that's sort of what makes a team good. You got to be able to battle those things on the road. You know, you look at Life's record and they've struggled, but going back and watching some film here in the last week or so, Coach Easley, man, I respect him so much. That they're trying to figure it out. They're playing so hard. There's no quitting their team. They ran a major battle with Cumberland U on Saturday and just couldn't pull it out late, sort of like us from Thursday or even Saturday. But we've just got to continue to worry about us, stick to what we're trying to do. Our defense, take away 1 or 2 games in this second half of the second semester has been really good, and we've got to continue to guard. I think defense wins the championships and helps you. And if we'll continue to guard, I think the offense will come. We're going to continue to work at it. Our guys are putting in a lot of work on their own as well as during practice. So I do like where our mindset is. Our guys are not satisfied. They're very disappointed, and they should be. But they're coming in ready to work and try to get better every day, and that's all I can ask of them.
Coach, best of luck this
Thanks,
weekend.
Matt. Appreciate it.
Brent Vernon and the Tigers in action twice this coming weekend. You get Thursday night at home in the Powell Center. That's a Lady Tiger doubleheader. That coverage begins at 5:45 on WLCU 88.7. The Tiger television coverage, online coverage starts there at 6 p.m. with the Lady Tigers first. Tigers follow at 8 p.m. Then on Saturday, they make the trip down to Lebanon, Tennessee for a matchup with Cumberland University. The Lady Tigers at 3 p.m., Tigers at 5 p.m. Eastern. A special thanks to Coach Vernon for joining us this week as well as the head coach of Lady Tiger basketball, Ginger Highcoven. We'll see you next time here on Inside CU Sports.
Hey Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
Take a look at Campbellsville University's campus with us, right here on WLCU TV, Campbellsville, Comcast Channel 10, and Digital Channel 15.